Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Soul Connections Conversations. I am Teresa Echaide, your host and creator of this series. This is a gathering space where we share our spiritual journeys and our soul's connections, purpose, and gifts. We're weaving spiritual community here. On my spiritual journey, I have met so many wonderful soul sisters and brothers that are soul connections. Wonderful souls that have helped me, guided me, and taught me, and above all, connected at a deep soul level. I'm honored, happy, and excited to bring them into this circle to share their stories with us. And today, I'm really happy to bring my dear mentor, teacher, soul sister, Orit Heartlight. Hello, Orit.
Hey, hello everyone. Thank you, Teresa. Very happy to be here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to reconnect with you and have you here. And let me tell the audience about you. Orit Heartlight. Orit's journey into energy healing began when she realized that, contrary to her previous training as a physical therapist, true healing occurs at the level of energy field which permeates the physical body. She embarked on the path of energy medicine in 1997 with the Integrative Manual Therapy Association. In 2004, she began studies in craniosacral therapy with the Upledger Institute. She's a certified craniosacral therapist, a certified teaching assistant with the Upper Ledger Institute, and a Reiki master practitioner. Orit's life shifted profoundly when she was introduced to the Munay-Ki, the 9 initiation rites of the Inca lineage. That led to studying shamanic healing with the Light Body School of the Four Winds Society, to receiving direct initiation transmissions from the Andean Quero Pacos of Peru, and to assisting Thomas Bostrom with the management and teachings of Shaman's Journeys workshops. Orit is a full Andean Mesa carrier in the lineage of the Quero Shamans of Peru and a graduate of the Four Winds Society's Light Body School. She's also a Pachacuti Mesa tradition carrier and continues to study with renowned Peruvian shamans. She is dedicated to creating space for others to connect to their healed state by stepping onto the shamanic path. Orit continues the legacy of her beloved Thomas by teaching and facilitating the programs offered by Shaman's Journey and developing new programs. In addition, she offers integrative healing sessions utilizing shamanic medicine techniques such as illumination, extraction, soul retrieval, cord cutting, chakra and luminous energy field cleansing, despacho ceremonies, advanced craniosacral therapy, and Reiki. And she also hosts regular Munay-Ki gatherings in Agoura Hills, California, and trains right bringers into the art of gifting these initiations. Wonderful. Thank you, Orit. That's such a wonderful introduction to all the work that you've been doing on your journey. And I love it. And I love how I know where you are in your home, in your beautiful home, that I've been there many times. And I love the background, how it's just so shamanic. It's just really wonderful. So thank you for being here. And just to start simple, just tell the audience about yourself. Like, for example, a little bit of your growing up, your childhood, just any significant stories that you have that contributed for you to have interest in the spirit world.
Okay, thank you, Teresa. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. So I was born in the land of Israel, and I was raised there and educated or indoctrinated there. My childhood was a very typical, very normal childhood, no traumas, no big traumas, loving parents and all of that. My parents were atheists. They did not believe in anything. And from a very early age, I had a burning desire to find spirituality. Of course, growing up in Israel, the first spirituality that's available is the religion, right? The Jewish religion. I just dipped my toe in that, and that did not feel right for me. So I was never really drawn to that, but I was always searching for something. as most people who describe themselves as shamanic practitioner, I had imaginary friends. And I had long, long conversations with my imaginary friends. So that was actually my first spiritual experience, in my opinion, because the imaginary world, or the world beyond what we can see and touch and sense, is very, very rich and very, very full. As all Israelis, I joined the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, after high school, when I graduated high school. And during the last year of my service, I already started to look at what am I going to do next. And I realized that my passion is about helping people. So naturally, I chose physical therapy. Being a physician was totally out of the question for me. Even though I didn't know, I guess I knew that that's not the right path for healing. So I went, after the Army service, I went to physical therapy school and started working as a physical therapist. And after a few years, actually after 6 years of working there, I met my to-be husband, who had an American citizenship. We got married, and very shortly after that, he said, I cannot live here. So I said, okay, let's go to your other home. And we came here to California. And that was probably one of the best things I've done in my life, is leave that country that it took many years for me to not associate myself with the country. And we even tried to go back to live there, to raise our girls there. But at this point, this is home. The United States of America is home for me right now. So my journey as a physical therapist progressed when, just like you read in the bio, when I realized that illness, disease, and even injuries don't start in the physical body. They start in the energy field. They start in our mental and spiritual state of mind. That's where they start. So I took my first course when we went back to Israel. We survived 3 years there before we returned here. So that's where I took actually my first class, which was not spiritual at all, but it was about energy healing. So that was kind of the jumping stone. When we returned here, I discovered the Upledger Institute, which is craniosacral therapy, and I never looked back at traditional physical therapy. That was okay. This is the way. It's working with energy. It's working with trauma. It's working with whatever your body holds is not a physical injury. It starts in the energy field. So that started the bridging between the physical world and the energy world for me. As you described, I became certified in craniosacral therapy. I'm assisting frequently those classes, well, frequently until 4 years ago, and I'm actually going back at the beginning of next year to assist. And then one of my colleagues who took many classes with me was a Reiki practitioner. So she introduced me to Reiki. She attuned me to the first level, then second level, then third level of Reiki. And it just incorporated into everything. I never did pure Reiki, but it kind of woven into everything else that I do. And then one day in 2009, I get an email from her, that the teacher mentor Reiki. And she says, I was just introduced to something that I think you will be very interested in. And she sent me a link. And I'm sitting, I will never forget that moment in my life. I'm sitting there with my hand on the mouse, clicking on the link, and a picture of the Andean Mountains pops up right there. And I froze, just like I'm on the mountains. I couldn't move for a few seconds. And then when I came around, the first thought that came to my mind, and I know it wasn't my thought, it came to my mind, was at last I found home again. And that was it. Now, there is a story about this background behind me. If we have time, I'll go into it. But that has been with me since 2000, I'm sorry, from 1988. And it's made in Peru. It's a picture of a village in old Peru. So this has been with me for many, many years, trying to speak to me, but I was deaf. I didn't hear. And then this picture that came to me and said, at last I found home again. That was the beginning of my journey with the Peruvian tradition. So I started with the Munay-Ki, which are 9 initiations that are gifted free of charge, donation-based, or whatever you want to call that. And when I received all 9 of them, it takes times, you get basically one at a time. When I received all 9, I went back and got all 9 of them again. And then I kept going and kind of supporting, holding space, helping, not initiating others yet. But then when the invitation came to become an initiator, to become a rite gifter, I jumped on that right away, took that course, and started to invite people to my space to, well, it was in another house first. Then after I kicked the whatever boyfriend that I had at that time out, then I brought it here to this sacred space. And then at some point I started hearing, it's time. And so what time? Time to take it to the next step. So that's when I enrolled in the Four Winds Society, with studying with the Four Winds and becoming a full Mesa carrier. My baby's right here. Here she is, my Mesa. Beautiful,
Yes.
medicine bag. And as I started to study, Tomas, who was one of my Munay-Ki initiator, invited me to assist a workshop with him, a different workshop, Dying Consciously. And then he went to the Four Winds to study how to teach. He became a certified teacher under the Four Winds Society. And he immediately invited me to assist him. So it was very interesting because I took my first class with the Four Winds Society and then assisted Tomas with the first class. And then I took the second class and assisted Tomas. So that's how that year went. I was just barely putting my foot in the water and already jumping into assisting. So it was diving deep, straight, jumping into the fire, whatever you want to call it, no looking back. And we did that for a few years, and then Tomas decided to leave his body. And he did that, it's going to be 8 years next month. And he made me promise him before he left that I will continue. I wasn't the teacher with Tomas, I was the lead assistant. So he made me promise that I will continue the work. And that's what I do. And since then, more workshops wrote themselves. I don't consider myself as the one who wrote the workshops. The workshops came through me. And that's what we do. We teach, and we help people step into the spiritual path that literally saved my life more than once.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. And I know I heard this story many times, but it's just so fascinating and fabulous to. I love it when we share our stories because, you will never think of you looking at somebody, you're like, oh my God, she was in the Israel army and all these background stories that you have, and your life journeys, you just like, I think it's wonderful to share our story to see where we've been and what we're doing and how we got here, and just at your heart you wanting to help people, so that is amazing. And to share stories, I'm going to share how we met. Is also, like you said, sometimes the universe works in mysterious ways. So I was googling things, because I had gone to Peru in 2018 with Alberto Villolo and the Four Winds Society. And that opened up the world for me as well. That I, as a kid growing up in Spain, I knew Peru was the #1 bucket list item that I had to. I felt such a spiritual, deep connection. Same thing, like the mystical mountains with mist and the music. I even learned the song, the Condor Pasa. I played in my flute in Spain. I was like, I loved it. And I just felt that like the indigenous part of me was awakened then. And so after going to Peru and like, oh my God, experiencing this world, I wanted, I was felt with, I need more. And I think Googling through things, I found you. We're both in California, and you offer, one of the big aspects that you offer is the Sacred Earth Medicine Path. And I had no idea about it. It was just very like general, the medicine wheel of, and I was like, oh my gosh, this really speaks to me. Also, because hummingbird's my spirit animal. I have it here, and hummingbird was in the north. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do these. So that's how we came about. And that was, I think, 2019 or 2018, maybe. And then it didn't happen for a year because then I moved to Texas and I had other things going on. But then coming back to California, COVID, and we made it happen. So that was how we started on this path. So I would like for you to share about this Sacred Earth Medicine Path. And if you want me to like share, because I did it twice. So I am,
You did it twice. So all your tribe did it twice.
Yes, it was such
That's
a powerful journey with the same people that we did it twice, so like back to back, and it was wonderful. So if you want to share about that, focus on the Sacred Earth Medicine Path, and then also you can share about other. I know I've taken other workshops as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Thank
the floor is
you.
yours to share.
Thank you. Where to start? This program is a life-changing program. It changed my life. As I said, it saved my life more than once, because without these practices, I feel that I wouldn't be here right now. So the Sacred Earth Medicine Path is a year-long program that includes 4 intensive workshops, 3 days workshops, weekend. We start Friday morning and we end Sunday evening. Intense, full schedule, 8 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. till 9:30 p.m. Boom, boom, boom. We go through 4 archetypes that traditionally, in this tradition, reside in different directions, cardinal directions. We start with Serpent. Serpent is about healing. It's about shedding the past. It's about finding ways to really emerge renewed and refreshed, to let go of the wounds. Typically, at that level, we work with the wounds of this lifetime. And we learn to cultivate and embody the gifts, because everything has a gift in it. Even the most horrific experience has gift in it. So we start with recognizing the gifts, taking them in, letting go of everything else. We work with fire, we work with stones. That's the beginning of the medicine bag, the mesa. Yes, those beauties. And then there are 3 months separating each of the workshops. So after Serpent, there are 3 months of integration in which we offer full support to the participant, both with scheduled events like journeys, Zoom journeys that we get together no matter where you are. You hop on and we do shamanic journeys together, and you have homework, not too big a deal, but like fire ceremonies, learning how to embody those archetypes and all those beautiful things. And then after those 3 months, we step into the next workshop, which is with Jaguar. And Jaguar teaches us about death. Jaguar teaches us to let go of the fear of death, because when we live our life afraid of death, then we live kind of a linear life that starts here and ends here. And in the middle, we have to follow the line, right? We don't have a lot of options. We have probabilities, not possibilities. So when we let go of the fear of death and we're no longer guided by that fear and held by that fear, then we can break free from that linear time. We can explore possibilities. What is possible? And everything is possible. In Jaguar, we also work with our ancestral lineage. We let go of traumas and wounds that happened 7 generations before us. And in that and with that, we heal 7 generations ahead of us. So it's a powerful, powerful work on our genetic influences and attachments. And then we also work with our karmic influences, previous lifetimes, lives where we suffered, lives that we had great powers, and we visit all of those. And then there again, 3 months of integration. Now, Josky. Now, what I forgot to mention is that each workshop has its own initiations woven into it. So one of the evenings of the workshop, typically Saturday, is dedicated to initiations. So we transform this space into kind of a, I don't know what to call it, spaceship. And we initiate our participants with those initiations. And the initiations, in some cultures, you have to go through a lot of studying and practices before you receive initiations. In this tradition, it's the other way around. They believe that upfronting you or giving you the initiations at the beginning actually helps you with your studies and helps you with embodying all the teachings. Because the idea is to embody the teachings, not just take the notes, go home and put the mesa on the shelf to collect dust. The idea is to incorporate all these practices and beautiful way of life into our everyday life. That's where the secret is. And I don't know if many people do it, actually. Jaguar, we finished Jaguar. We have 3 months of integration, again, with scheduled support and with all-time support. Our participants are invited to call us, me and the assistants, anytime for support. And then the next, third class is the hummingbird, your class, the sweet, sweet hummingbird. So what happens? We took Serpent and Jaguar and shed, let go, healed, integrated, cultivated the gifts, all those beautiful things that prepare us to be initiated, that prepare us to really step fully into this way of life. And that's what we start doing in Hummingbird. We learn about time. We learn about the limitation of time and why we want to break away from the linear time, step into circular time or infinite time. We learn about the ancestors. We receive initiations that really bring us up to the level where we can live this sacred life in a beautiful way. We meet the lineage. We go through journeys that are mind-blowing, that were downloaded to Tomas and then to me, amazing journeys. And we fly with Hummingbird. And what does hummingbird represent? A hummingbird, if you've ever seen a hummingbird, so I'm sure you did, but anyone who's watching that, they can hover in place. They don't move. Their body is still. Only their wings go, and they go so fast, the fastest in all birds in the world. And what that represents is even when there is a lot of chaos around us, and a lot of movement and bad things and good things and whatever, we can stay still, centered in our center, in our heart, in our knowing that we can shift anything we want to shift. That the chaos around us does not need to enter our life, that we can stay in our inner peace and live life from that place, which is such a blessing, especially in the last 4 years. The ability to stay in your happy place, in your heart, in your love. So that's what we learn in Hummingbird. Hummingbird also knows which flowers to dip her beak into to drink nectar. Each hummingbird has their own flowers, right? So with Hummingbird, with this kind of teaching, we learn where to source from, those places that can nurture and sustain us, and not try to drink from the flowers that are poisonous for us, right? So a lot of discernment, a lot of tracking skills, which tracking is literally divination, but you don't have to do anything. Just close your eyes and you know which direction to turn because it comes from the inside. So these are the teachings of Hummingbird. And then again, we have 3 months integration, more journeys, more fire ceremonies and beautiful things. And then we step into Condor Eagle. Now, many times after Hummingbird, and I felt the same way the first time I did this. After Hummingbird, I said, aren't we done? That's it. What else is there? When we step into Condor Eagle, then you realize what else is there, because that's where everything comes together. And we learn that we remember, because we know it, we remember that we manifest our reality with every thought, every word, every action, every intention, every will. We create our reality. So in Condor Eagle, we learn how to put all those pieces that we learn over the year together and learn how to manifest what we want instead of what we have. And that's the power of Condor Eagle. There are more journeys and more exercises, but the really the cherry on the top of the cake is that skill to realize what you want, or you first start with what you have. Do you want it? No. Okay, then what do you want? Oh, I want this. Okay, how do we manifest that? How do we bring it into our reality, into our life? So we can stay again in that center, in that heart. And then you get the last initiation too, which are 2 beautiful, amazing high-level initiations.
Wow.
So that's the Sacred Earth Medicine Path.
Thank you. Thank you for that beautiful journey. It takes me back to to my
Yeah.
journeys. And if you don't mind, I just want to share a little bit of how my
Yes.
experience was, so people know, and just give my testimonial here, and also show my mesa. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But yeah, now that you mentioned the medicine wheel, the journey, the hero's journey that we're going through, the initiation, and then, going through the suffering and peeling off things, and then what you learn, and then bringing it back to your current life. I think what it was powerful for me and my tribe, it was that we did this in 2020, like in the thick of so much death and everything. We started November. We started a little bit late, November 2020, and then 2020, and then in the winter of 21, there was a lot of, shedding, letting go, changing. Jaguar was very powerful, a lot of like, death. So that kind of made us like, like you said, face, the fear of death that we have. And that was very, I think it was very helpful. People were losing their lives. We knew people who were affected by these, and yeah. And then hummingbird, I'm like, oh, it's my spirit animal, and that's how I want to be. Joyful and the sweet nectar of life. And also, have you just said now discerning which flowers to receive the nectar from? And I don't know if you recall, on the first round, I got sick one night. I remember after we were, and it was not the food. I started vomiting in
Do
the
you remember
bathroom.
Do you remember at which class it was?
It was Hummingbird. Yeah, it was doing
Hummingbird.
Hummingbird. And I know what it was because Hummingbird was around my birthday. And I had a texting fight with a friend, let's say, because she was not nice to me and all this stuff. And my body was just like reacting to all that stuff that she threw at me. And my body just really, like I said, and I don't vomit just for no reason, you know. And it was nothing to do with the food. It was just a couple hours. That was like, or not even a couple, an hour. But I knew that's what it was. It was like, this flower is not for you to take the nectar. It's actually poison. And that relationship, that was the last communication we had. We ended the relationship there because that's what it was at the end of the day. It was poison that I was receiving. And that was such an awakening, like, you know, it's like, wow. So that was one of them. And then Eagle Condor, where we started the first journey, for me, it was also powerful because that's what I found out. I got the news that my father was diagnosed with lung cancer in Spain. So that was like, oh my gosh, a lot of initiations going on at that time. And I felt the world still was kind of a scary place to be. It was 2021. COVID was like the center of everything. I was just getting back on my feet, coming back from Texas, getting a job after so long, and just getting back on track, right? And then I just had these like, this was so potent and powerful. I need to peel that onion even further. It opened up a lot. And these archetypes are so powerful. The ceremonies, building our mesas, it was just, and we had the time to, we had the luxury of more time to be able to do this, you know, I think, because we were not distracted by other, you know, things that we couldn't do in life anymore. So it was so powerful. I felt it. And even before finishing, I'm like, I want to do this again because you, Orit, and assistants were wonderful. Everything was just really, truly magical. And I was like, I feel that there's still another layer that I need to go deeper into. So did sign up for the second year, and it's nothing alike, even though I know what the curriculum is and the ceremonies. It's just like you receive so much more what you need to receive. So that was wonderful. And definitely I remember in our second round, we had a couple of new other people, but Jaguar was really powerful for me because, you know, we had a potent Jaguar weekend. 2 days after I come back and I get laid off, I'm like, oh my God, you know, me and another person in the group too, remember? And we're like, okay, here's a little bit of death again, and what's coming up. And so that was really, it was really potent and helpful for me to have such a drive to, oh my God, to ask for help. You know, asking for help is a very difficult, has been a very difficult thing for me to do all my life. And the help I asked, it was just prayer. So send me some luminous light, sawachaki, send me something, you know, just different things like that. And just knowing that I have my soul brothers and sisters supporting me and wishing me the best, and just kind of like, you know, even though we were not physically together, but we're soul connected. So that was really, really powerful. And then coming to the culmination of the second year, it felt like I kind of felt graduated, you know, from this 2-year journey. And by the time, so Jaguar got laid off, and then by Hummingbird, between Hummingbird and Condor Eagle, I manifested a job that allowed me to buy my house where I'm at right now. And it's like, boom, it's like, okay, back on track. And I was able to, like, you know, I was like in the midst of that chaos, this Hummingbird was like, sit still, you know, it's coming together. And then got my wings, graduated to Condor Eagle, and I was able to land here and land in this land, you know, and settle in, put my roots here, and just move on forward. So it was a really wonderful circle, spiral, all of it. And that was my beautiful experience. I'm very grateful and thankful for it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this. I did forget to mention that the people that participate over the year become like a family. And the mutual support that participants offer to each other is outstanding. It's just beautiful. And in addition to that, we have assistants The assistants are 2 times graduates. Assistants are required to go around twice before they apply to be assistants, because we want them to be really anchored in the medicine in a way that they can really hold space for all the transformation that happens here, which is huge. So our assistants are totally dedicated, are totally following the path and living that kind of life. And I tear up every time I talk about the assistants, because the way we run these workshops cannot be done without assistance. There is absolutely no way anyone can pull this off without assistance. So it's just remarkable, the assistance that we have. And assistants do change every now and then. The next year is going to be very different without our JT. But yeah, JT decided that he needs to, after 10 years. JT has been assisting for 10 years. And mind you, the assistants, they may get a little bit of a stipend if we have a large group, but we haven't had a large group in a while. So they do it for free. They volunteer to assist.
They are in service. They truly are in service.
Amazing, amazing. So I'm so deeply grateful to the assistants. And, you know, it's, as someone who assisted Tomas and was the lead assistant for some years, I know exactly what they do in their work, and it's so invaluable. There is no way I can do it without them.
Yeah,
And the connection between the participants and the assistants is really beautiful to witness.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole group dynamic, and they're for each other. And yeah, I would like you to go in a little bit about our mesa, how we built this during our journey, and just explain to the audience who may not be aware what a mesa is. Yes, please.
Okay, so here she is, my beautiful. Don't make noise. So each of the 4 workshops, participants bring 3 stones with them to work with. And these stones become the healing stones that are in the mesa. So the mesa is literally a portable altar. It can go with you almost anywhere, even on an airplane. Yes, we've all had those experiences of having our mesas opened and checked and all that. That's okay. I guess they need the healing. So participants bring 3 stones each workshop. So at the end of the year, they have the 12 stones that they brought, which they work with during the workshop. So first of all, why stones? So stones are, first of all, stones are the first people on this earth, right? First, it was just rocks and stones. So they're ancient. And can you imagine if a stone could speak and tell the history of the world? So when we create our connection with the stones do speak to us. You can really hear them, you can smell them, you can taste them. It's incredible. We do divination with the stones. It's incredible. But what we do with the stones during the workshop is participants work with the stones and with the earth to let go of traumas and wounds, to by imprinting them on the stone and then letting the earth drain the energy from the stone. Then the stones are being blessed and initiated as the participants are initiated. So the mesa represents you, and it becomes a part of your journey in a very powerful way. So 3 stones each workshop. We have the 12 stones representing the 12, the masculine calendar, if you will, of 12 months. And then participants receive a 13th stone at the Hummingbird workshop, which connect them to the lineage through the teacher. And then you have the feminine calendar, the 13-month, the lunar calendar. So everything about the Peruvian tradition or the Andean tradition is about balance. So by doing that, you create a balance between the masculine, the 12 stones, the 12-month calendar, and the feminine, the 13-month calendar, the lunar calendar. The stones then can serve you in a way. It's pretty magical. For example, you're throwing up, you're not feeling well. Instead of processing your letting go through your body with throwing up, you can do it through the mesa. So you work with the mesa in specific ways, and this way the mesa can do the healing for you, so you don't have to experience it physically. So that's one way that the mesa can work. At the end of the year-long program, you have tools to work with the stones. So when I studied, I didn't get so many tools to work with my mesa at the end. When we started to travel to Peru and learn directly from the Pacos, the shamans in Peru, we learned tools that you can work with the mesa. So we teach that. We took it to the next level. So when you get home after the 4th class, it's not like, okay, now I have a mesa, now what? No, you know that this can serve you. This is a tool for you for the rest of your life. You can meditate with it, you can sleep with it, you can ask questions, you can do divinations, you can do processes that you learn through during the year-long program, and it becomes your best buddy that can really, really serve you. So it has the 13 stones that I worked with. And then it has all kind of helpers too that I acquired over the years, working with the Pacos in Peru and getting stones from them, crystals, and all kind of other things. So the mesa is a work in process always, just like we are.
Yes, yes, it is. And our lovely companion, like you mentioned, yes, very, very powerful. And, it takes time to dedicate to, it's a relationship, you have to tend to it, to the stones, to not just ask, but also give and just have that relationship reciprocal. So yes, thank you. Thank you for that. And it's such a powerful tool.
Beautiful. Yeah, Aine is a beautiful concept in the Peruvian tradition, which means sacred reciprocity. We give, we take.
Speaking of those principles, can you explain the 3 principles? Can you just give us an overview of them, please?
Sure. So there are more than 3 principles. Aine is one of them. But the 3 principles I think you're referring to are the 3 centers. So traditionally, the Peruvian work with 3 centers in the body, which is the heart, obviously, the forehead, and the belly. And what they represent are Munay, which is unconditional universal love, is of course in the heart. Yachai, which is wisdom, vision, sacred wisdom in the forehead, and Yankai in the belly, which means sacred work or service. Service is sacred work, so service. And I also heard will. That's where you will, hold your will in your belly. So it's a guidance system. So with these 3 principles, what's the optimal way of life in this tradition, in my opinion, is we source from the heart. That's our first guide, sourcing from the heart. Then we use our wisdom to create sacred service, sacred action. So these are the 3 pillars that go through the entire program, and hopefully people continue to refer to them and as they embody them. Love, unconditional love, wisdom and vision, and sacred service.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And thank you for, sharing these three pillars that are like the meat and potatoes of our this journey. I learning that it was like, oh yes, it just feels so in alignment with my soul and being a person and embodying that. So thank you. And so now that we have a few minutes left, I would like for you to share also, I know if you can say about the Munay-Ki that you also offer those at your home and at despacho. Those are the two big things that I want the audience to learn about that you
Okay.
offer as well.
Right. So the Munay-Ki, as we mentioned at the beginning of this talk, are 9 initiations they parallel the initiation that participants receive during the year-long program, but they're kind of westernized, if I may. Or the way I actually like to call them is the homeopathic version of the traditional initiation. And what took place is Alberto Villoldo, who is one of the teachers who brought the traditions here to the West, asked the Pacos at some point, his teachers, if he can bring this to the West. And their first response was no. And he kept pushing and pushing. And after a while, they said, okay, but 2 conditions. We're going to work on how you do it together, and they need to be offered free of charge. And that's something that I'm very passionate about because I know people who charge for that. And if my teacher told me this needs to be given free of charge, then it needs to be given free of charge. I have a basket for donations for which I ask for hosting, for producing the evening and all of that, but there is no obligation to pay for anything. The one thing that they said is in alignment with Aini, which is the principle of sacred reciprocity, is that everyone who gets an initiation needs to bring a small offering, a small gift. Okay, so incense, candles, feathers, whatever, a small gift for the exchange, right? You receive an initiation, you offer a gift. The way they decided then to westernize the initiations is instead of giving the initiation with a sack full of froth, right, which is not always comfortable, we give it with a torus, a pie stone. So if you look at the torus, what it represents is the torus shape of energy that surrounds every living thing, including the earth herself. So this represents that channel from heaven to earth with that globe around it, that sacred space around it. So this is what we use to initiate people. The initiations are gifted one at a time, except for 2 of them. The second and third are gifted together because they work together in certain ways. So you come the first evening you come, you get the whole spiel of the background and introduction and everything. And then if you want, you get the first initiation. And then the second time you get the second and third, and then one at a time. So it takes 8 meet or gatherings to get all the rites. The way we do it here at my space here is not structural. It's not like we gather a group of people, everyone get the first, then they come back, they get the second and third. No, that's not the way we do it. We do it more free fall to allow more people to receive it. So when you come the first time, you get the introduction, you get the first rite. If you can't make it the next time, no problem. Come the following time and you'll get the second and third. So everyone gets the next rite up when they're able to be here for the gathering. The gatherings, we hold the gathering here on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Daytime. There is another rite gifter in Ventura who does it there, and I think I don't know if she still does Santa Barbara. And we don't have anyone in the south, unfortunately, in the southern regions of California. We used to, but right now we don't. So there are others who give it, and again, by donation only. That's it. The other thing that we offer open to anyone who is guided are the despacho ceremonies. And despacho in Spanish is an offering. And what it is, it's we create together, all the ones who choose to come here, we create together a prayer bundle with tons of offerings for the earth in the form of seeds and candy and flowers, and offering to the mountains, because in this tradition, like in many other indigenous traditions, the mountains are very sacred. The mountains is where the wisdom is held. So they're very, very sacred. So we give offering to the mountains and to the earth and to the heavens and to Great Spirit and to the earth again, lots of chocolate. And we create this beautiful arrangement of offerings and flowers together. And everyone gets to blow their own wishes and their own things into that. So they blow it into leaves, 3 leaves together. That's called kintu. And if they blow it into it, they put it, or I put it into the offering. And when we're done, we energize it, we pray over it a little bit, we close it, and then we go outside and we put it in the fire. Why? Because fire is the fastest transformative power on this earth. So what the fire does is it takes all our prayers, all our wishes, and it takes it up to spirit for manifestation. So it's an act of thy will be done, letting go. Everything that we put in there, okay, we're done. Sending it up to spirit for manifestation. We have done our part. Now it's spirit's turn to do her part. And when a mesa carrier calls spirit, spirit answers. But when spirit calls a mesa carrier, the mesa carrier has to answer too. That's the shamanic agreement.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that, so people have an awareness of all the beautiful traditions of the Incas and the Queros, how that are brought here and that we can participate in. And despacho is a beautiful ceremony that is simple yet powerful, and to me is connection with the earth. Even though you don't have to be outside in the forest, you can do it in your garden, in your home, like we did it, and just make these beautiful offerings and feel that connection with Pachamama, with the earth, and it just brings it all together. So wow, Ori, thank you so much. I'm gonna put
what I forgot to mention, first of all, we have other workshops. You can find all of them on our website, shamansjourney.net. But the despacho ceremonies are offered simultaneously in place and online, so anyone can participate. Any workshop that includes initiations can only be done in place. I will not do initiations over the internet. Some of my teachers do, I don't. So all those workshops are in place. Dying consciously is in place because these exercises have to be done in a group. You cannot do them alone. But so we have actually only 2 things that are offered online, and that's despacho ceremonies and a workshop called the Art of Shamanic Journeying, which is an introductory level workshop. Those 2 are offered online as well as in place.
Beautiful. Yes, yes. I will put the website below the video here so everybody can go reach out. And real quick, to just round it up, do you have the dates already for the Sacred Earth Medicine Path? I know you have them. It starts in October, correct?
Yes.
You just want to give the first date?
Yes, it starts. I have it on this thing that is recording us. but it starts in October 11th and 13th. We had to move it earlier this year because my lead assistant at this time, since JT retired,
Okay.
my lead assistant is going to be out of the country later in October.
Okay.
So we moved it to earlier in October, and since we didn't have the program this year, it's no issue, no problem. So October 11th to 13th is the first one. Then Jaguar is in
Yeah.
February.
I see it here, 7th to 9th of 2025. And then Hummingbird will be May 9 to 11th. And then Condor Eagle will be August 8 to 10th.
Yeah. And we try the best we can to align the workshops with the full moon. I insist on it for the last one. And I think Hummingbird is also on a full moon or close to a full moon. The first two, it doesn't really matter, but the last two where we really step into the initiations and everything, I like it to be under full moon because we do 2 initiations outside.
Yes, definitely. And the powerful energies of the full moon, like the one we just had a few days ago. And I remember that was also extra powerful to when we did ours, especially the last one. Usually it's the full moon in Aquarius that it falls under in August. Yeah, powerful.
Yeah, that's the same full moon that Tomas passed under.
Oh,
Passed
yeah.
under full moon in Aquarius, which was his birth sign.
Yeah.
So I know that he chose that. So there are no coincidences. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can feel this Thomas's spirit right there in the oak tree that you have in the front yard.
Yes.
So his presence is rooted in that place.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much for all of these. And just want to like ask if you have one last words of wisdom that you would like to share with the audience and a food for thought. And
I think the most important thing for people to remember is that we do create our reality. And the way we do it is with every thought, every word, and every action. So we must be conscious of every thought, every word, and every action. Fully conscious, fully aware of what we project out there into the universe and into the world. Yeah, that's starts being in service right there. If you stay there and stay in your heart and project that onto the world, you're already in service, mesa or not.
beautiful, wise words, my dear teacher. And thank you for being in service to so many souls like me that we found you and we have become soul family. We were family, we just found each other again. And I appreciate you, all your wisdom, your service, your teachings, your mentorship, and continue on this path. I know people, if you resonate, go into the website and find out everything that Orit has in place for you to even the free offerings of the spachos. And just if this calls to you, just go ahead and contact her. She's available. Thank you, Orit.
Thank
Such a
you, Teresa.
pleasure. Such a pleasure. And thank you, everyone here listening. I hope you really enjoyed this wonderful, heartfelt conversation with my dear soul sister and teacher. Until next time, bye.
Thank you. Happy Moonlight. Big love.